12 hours ago, the world crossed a line it had avoided for nearly 80 years. Cities burned, missiles flew, command centers went dark. Now, the explosions have stopped, not because the danger is over, but because there is nothing left to strike. This is the most dangerous moment of all, because history shows us one truth. Wars do not end when weapons fall silent. They end when people decide what comes next. This is hour 12 to hour 24. This is the world after the strikes. By hour 12, the planet looks different, even from space. Satellite imagery shows vast brown scars where cities once stood. Entire regions glow faintly from residual fires. Smoke columns rise so high, they merge with the stratosphere. Global air traffic has ceased. Shipping lanes are frozen. Financial markets are silent. Not paused, not closed, simply unreachable. The modern world, built on speed and connection, has shattered. In North America, emergency broadcasts loop endlessly. In Europe, borders mean nothing anymore. Refugees move in every direction, guided only by rumor and instinct. In Russia, entire command structures are missing. And across Asia, Africa, and South America, governments scramble to answer a terrifying question. Is this war over, or only waiting? Fallout begins to spread. Invisible, unforgiving, unavoidable. Weather patterns, as once background noise, now decide life or death. Rainfall becomes radioactive delivery. Cities that were never hit begin to evacuate anyway. Hospitals overflow with patients suffering burns, trauma, and radiation sickness, a condition modern medicine was never designed to handle at scale. Doctors are forced to choose who receives care, not because they want to, but because there is no alternative. Governments quietly activate continuity protocols. Underground bunkers seal their doors. Leadership moves from public view into hardened locations, not to rule, but to survive. For the first time in history, the human species is managing itself as a casualty event. At hour 16, the greatest fear of Cold War planners becomes reality. Decentralized power. In multiple nuclear states, command authority is fragmented. Some units receive ceasefire orders, others receive nothing. A few receive conflicting instructions. Submarine crews wait underwater, unable to confirm whether the war is over, or whether they are expected to finish it. Missile crews sit beside weapons that can no longer be recalled. In several locations, officers quietly remove keys from launch consoles. In others, they refuse. The fate of millions now rests not with presidents or prime ministers, but with individuals whose names will never be known. The world is no longer governed. It is managed moment by moment. Away from command rooms and bunkers, humanity reacts in its most raw form. Families search for each other in ruins. Strangers form temporary communities in subway tunnels, basements, and shelters. Food becomes currency. Information becomes power. Social order fractures, but does not disappear. In some cities, looting erupts. In others, volunteers organize supply lines with handwritten signs and flashlights. There is fear, overwhelming fear, but there is also something else. Resolve. Because survival, at its core, is not political, it is human. At hour 20, something extraordinary happens. Backchannel communications reappear, not public, not official, but real. Military-to-military lines open. Emergency diplomatic channels bypass traditional protocols. Messages are short, carefully worded, emotionless. The goal is not peace, the goal is prevention. Prevention of a second wave, prevention of misunderstanding, prevention of extinction. For the first time since the war began, the word tomorrow re-enters the conversation. As the 24th hour approaches, analysts compile damage reports. The numbers are incomplete. They always will be. Tens of millions dead. Hundreds of millions displaced. Global infrastructure set back decades, perhaps longer. Climate models show temperature drops already forming. Nuclear winter is no longer theoretical. It is conditional, possible, avoidable, if the strikes truly end here. The world stands at a fork in history. One path leads to escalation, the other to survival. Neither is guaranteed. This series was never about predicting the future. It was about understanding the present. Every decision you've witnessed, every minute counted, every missile launched was designed to answer one question. How close are we to the edge? The answer is uncomfortable, closer than we think. World War III does not begin with villains. It begins with systems, with assumptions, with moments where no one believes the worst will happen, until it does. But it also ends with people, with restraint, with communication, with the refusal to press a button one last time. The next war will not be decided by strength alone. It will be decided by judgment. And whether humanity remembers, even for one critical moment, that survival is the only victory that matters. 24 hours ago, the world as we knew it ended. What comes next is not written, and that may be our last hope.